goes when time shrivels. When days lay ahead like gold medals. When the rhythm of your lover's pumping shoes slowly abate. When does your respirator turn down? 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 Doppler, that's it. Your respirator, when does it turn down? Your respirator, when was it turned on?
They're in.
All right. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the Way of the Fantasy League. That's right. We are a fantasy advice show. Fantasy advice from fantasy nerds. How is everyone doing?
Fabuloso.
Fabuloso. Nice. Beautiful.
To my music, man.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. That's a great, that's my old band, Death Charge Evil. You can find them wherever you find music, I guess. To the left of me is my friend Malkier Tries. He is a YouTuber, podcaster, Wheel of Time fan. Malkier, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. All the better for being here.
Beautiful. How do you feel about your fantasy week? What are your prospects?
Maybe.
All right. Did I hear a cock crowing? This is too early for cock. Oh, Darren, you are muted. Let's turn you off. Darren, would you like to introduce yourself to everybody?
I am Darren. I'm the senior soothsayer, but I am on a retreat this week. As you know, I came up to Portland, Oregon, the International Fantasy Soothsayer Convention retreat was this weekend, which is why I'm up here. And I have to say, the morning was really pretty nice. I had a healing meditation. It was a Jared Goff healing meditation for doing jack squat against Seattle's horrible passing defense last week. So I feel cleansed. But a war broke out between West Coast and East Coast soothsayers on whether Taysom Hill is a tight end or a quarterback. And so I'm hiding. I don't want to be in the fight. I need to hide. So if you see me coming in and out, you'll know why.
All right, I think okay. All right. I'm very familiar with it.
Are there rocks and sticks? Are there what kind of war is this? I mean, we got weaponry?
All I know is there's a lot of hills.
A lot of hills. So which hill are you willing to die on?
I'm playing him this week, Hill.
Yes, beautiful. And to your right, a saddened, forlorn Athaan Shadar. I put you below me on purpose, my friend. How are you doing, Mr. Second Place?
I'm actually in third place, which is pretty rough.
I don't see. You're so below me. I can't even. The details are meaningless.
Yeah, I think Desmond pulling second.
Sucks.
Sucks, huh?
Very, very, very crappy weeks. Hopefully, we'll get a bounce back week. Yeah. Last week, Russell Wilson put up 9 points. DK Metcalf had 3. I don't think I can win any games with those kinds of numbers.
Nope. And this week, very interestingly, is probably the lowest expected point total so far. These are titans of defense are rising up. And there's only one game where the expected over-under is breaking 50 points. Can anyone guess which game that is right now off the top of your head? Chiefs at Raiders. Yes, Chiefs and Raiders is the only game that's expected to break 50 points. So we got to get into these games. We got to get into the numbers. We need to help our friends out at home. We are a fantasy advice show, and we are here to answer your questions. We will update you on injuries, who's active, who's not. We will dive into the Mustache Hall of Fame. But first, let's get into this week's Twitter poll. That's right. We have 5 questions, and if you go to the hashtag or whatever at Way League, you will find this. And please do so now. It's actually fun, and we're getting some participation. All right, over under. Number 1, Mike Davis at 79.5 total yards. Number 2, who will have more total yards, Ronald Jones or Leonard Fournette? Number 3, will Terry McLaurin bring down 6+ receptions? Yes or no? Will Cleveland's defense register 4+ sacks, interceptions, or fumbles? Just put those 3 together. And then over under, Taysom Hill with 1+ passing touchdown. All right, so again, that is over at Way League, our new Twitter handle. Is that right? You have handles? I used to have love handles, but now
I've still got those.
But now I have some stunning abs. I got some stunning abs. No more love handles for this guy.
Wow.
Andrew the Barnatine says, when are we going to see the Leaf brothers play some football? Do they have enough muscle to lift the ball? Bro, this is getting out of hand.
Yeah, I was all league in the Puppet League for sure. I was the best. I was the Taysom Hill. I was catching and throwing. I would throw it and then run real fast and catch my own ball.
All right. Well, I am not conflict avoidant. I'm conflict of friended, and I want to get into the Taysom Hill discussion. Is he a tight end? Is he a quarterback? It is absolutely bullshit that he is listed as a tight end. I've never seen him line up. Does he even line up as a tight end? What is this whole tight end business? When he comes in, is he a freaking tight end?
He does. I mean, he about a third of the time he's been a tight end.
Yeah, but if the coach says, I'm starting Taysom Hill at quarterback, do we now get to put him in at tight end? Or is it just ESPN is too slow and can't get their freaking algorithm to fix it?
Oh, that's a good question.
It's only ESPN that has him in at tight end, I think. Yahoo does not.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Okay,
I will say, years ago in Yahoo, I had Marcus Colston, who was on the Saints, and he had a dual designation, and it got me a lot of extra points.
But tight end and quarterback?
No, tight end and wide receiver.
Okay, yeah. I hear you on that one. See, that's more common. Tight end and quarterback is just bonkers. Okay, so are we are here we go. I'm going to put on some background music and let's get into it. We have 13 games on the docket and we are going to go through them one at a time and we're going to talk about the fantasy implications of each one. But before we do, let's remember to give us a subscribe. This is what we're here for. We want your attention and your little fingers to touch those. Oh, look, I'm in the middle. This is a nightmare sandwich for me. Look at this. I wake up and it's like, whoa, you're still there. All right.
Try and do the face.
Trying to do the face? Oh. All right.
And we're actually at like 247 subs. I would love it if 3 people would sub and get us to 250. This would make my weekend very awesome. So go ahead and hit the sub button if you would.
Yeah. I promise I did at least 30 minutes of prep for this show.
Oh, I did way more.
I said at least. I don't want to make you guys feel bad. All right. So, Darren. Oh, you're indoors. Did you find a new hiding spot?
I'm no longer in hiding. They've called a truce. They called a truce.
All right. No, that was a whole bullshit story. You just went out to pick mushrooms. It is legal to do everything in Oregon now, and that's why Darren left whatever state he's from and flew over there immediately, brought his family, oddly enough, and they are all participating in legal mushrooms. First game. Here's our first game. Let me get this banner off. All right. We are talking about the Texans at the Ravens. And I did lie. This is the second game that breaks 50.
Okay, yeah.
All right. I'm already a big fat liar. All right. The Titans have lost 3 of the last 4 games. And the Titans are allowing a 67.8% completion rating and a 277.4 passing yards per contest. The Titans used to be a stout defense. That is no longer. Baltimore averages the 7th fewest passing yards per game. So those stats, do they cancel each other out? Which mediocre stat's going to prevail? Henry has already torched the Ravens with 195 yards in January's AFC divisional round game last year. So, is this going to be a repeat performance? What is behind these numbers? Take it away, panel. Start with Darren.
Yeah, I find it hard. Ravens' defense is so good, right? I can't see Tannehill. You've already seen his efficiency drop off, right? When he's pressured and he's against a good defense, he just doesn't do well anymore. We talked about this, I think, the first week of the entire season, which was Tannehill. He looks like a top 5, but I even made the point back then. It was all about efficiency because he doesn't have much volume. I think AJ Brown's probably the only wide receiver on the Titans that you're playing. Henry, he's not gonna get 195 again. You're obviously playing him, but I think it's going to be a tough sled for Titans. And for Baltimore, Lamar Jackson started to increase his efficiency in terms of passing. He'll get his rush yards. I think a sneak pick is actually Willie Snead, wide receiver on the Ravens, because he has a good corner matchup, and if they're going to be thrown a little bit more than normal, he might actually be a decent start.
I actually have Willie Snead, and I picked him up. That is a great take, Darren. Very much. So you're not a fan of Corey Davis this week?
Not at all.
Yeah, you're right. I have him on my bench, and I have Willie Snead in as my flex player. So we are of the sound mind but yet not sound body.
I would say same mind. We're not sound at all.
Malky, is there any weather issues we need to be aware of for this game?
No, the weather seems pretty standard. We got 52 overcast, 8-mile-an-hour winds. I don't think it's going to have any weather playing in. Looking at that, so
Yeah, the reason why Malkier is with us is he's literally has more friends than anyone we know. He has friends in each of these cities, and they're all on a Zoom call, and they're just putting their heads out the window and telling him what it's like.
Yeah.
He's not looking at the internet at all. Dean, can you pull it together and tell us what you think about this game, or are you just too out of sorts?
Which game we're talking about?
Titans or Ravens?
Titan Ravens. I don't know. I just hope Derrick Henry scores a bunch.
You just hope he is? Okay. Do you think he's going to? Will he break?
He'll probably get a touchdown.
Will he break 100 yards?
Probably not. And if he does, ain't nobody on the wide receiving court. He's not.
All right, we lost you, Dean. All right, well, you broke up a little bit. You're breaking up. We can't really hear you, buddy. And he's out.
Nope.
Boom.
Well, so both of these teams are 6-3 right now, but they're each coming off of a loss. The Ravens lost to New England, and the Titans got their ass handed to them by Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers ended up going 308 yards against them, which was uncharacteristic of Phillip Rivers this day and age. The Titans are also down 3 key guys. Jadeveon Clowney is on IR. Kareem Orr is a cornerback, and Kenny Vaccaro is the safety. They're all out. I think that this is going to be a playoff revenge game from last year. I think that Lamar's going to go off.
Okay. Hot take. You think he's going to return to form this game?
I think that this is going. Yeah, I think that. I definitely do. I think this is going to be. There's a lot of beef going on because they lost because of the playoffs, and I think that this is going to be a handily revenge game, and I think the Ravens are going to kind of wipe the floor with them.
Beautiful, nice hot takes, Dan. Brother Dan,
Thanks.
bringing it.
Yep.
Thanks.
All right, so we have the Willie Snead. Pick him up, try and get him in your lineup if possible. Sneaky wide receiver 3 flex play. Any other takes for this game, guys? Anything else? We are
just the Titans O-line is depleted and their special teams is shit as of the last 2 weeks. So, I'm just confirming that it's not going to be a fun day for the Titans. I think Henry may go off. I mean, the Ravens gave up 173 rush yards to New England, which is more than they should have. So Henry may have a decent game, but I still think it's going to be the Lamar show.
There's always this kind of Patriot effect where the Patriots figure another team out and then every other team in the league will just start piling on. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Patriots somehow found weaknesses in the run game, and yeah, you're right, like this is going to get exposed like throughout the year. Cool, man. Very, very, very nice. We have a mustache Hall of Fame, guys. Right? It's a fan favorite. Let's just go through some of the original entries. These are just some beautiful stashes, right?
Ooh,
oh man,
the Texas tuxedo right there, baby.
Turning
denim
hard.
on denim over denim.
Oh, change my gender
Polo type
pronoun.
chick.
All right, and then we had this. Here's just we all mustaches are valid, and this guy he has a plain mustache, but we're still going to accept him into the fold. But
He's
you know
in
what?
the Hall of Fame. That's okay. Yeah. Let's. I'm embracing it. Go ahead,
Dan. Can I get a drum roll, please? One-handed drum roll, and we have Antonio Brown, the latest addition to the Mustache Hall of Fame. He is sporting the newly dyed white mustache. Yes, he is.
Wow.
We can call that a blonde stash. We will be seeing more of Antonio Brown throughout the day. Yes. I rarely go to the Oh, what's that? Brother, Darren, are you doing a Hitler?
I have a blonde mustache. Can you see my blonde mustache?
That is. You look like John Bolton.
You look like John. Oh, I might just have to bring him in and make him like an honorary member of a team just to get that stash in there.
Well, yeah. Throw in Sam Elliott. You like my stash, dude.
Ryan, can we move on to the baby face Hall of Fame for players that look like they're not of age? Have you seen the one of Herbert with his new haircut?
Hey, well, I mean, next year,
next year, face Hall of Fame.
We could take, you know, I was going to bring it to Twitter, but we could take suggestions for what Hall of Fames we could do next year, but we can only really just do one at a time. We can't oversaturate the market with so much joy. All right, guys, get your questions and comments ready in the chat. I know you guys play fantasy football. You must be thinking about, do I want to do this? Do I want to do that? Let us embarrass ourselves trying to figure it out for you. At the mid-show break, we'll do a 10-minute break, play some music, come back and continue all the way up to game time for the morning games. We have injury updates in the crawlers, and we will, if anything exciting happens, we will blast it up onto the screen for you, so you do not have to watch those stupid assholes yelling at the screen. I woke up this morning, I was like, okay, I'm going to put on a show and get ready. I was making coffee, and this huge-ass white guy's going, blah, 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 blah. And I said, you know what? God damn, I'm so glad. We're going to change the industry. We're going to change the way this is delivered to you.
Yeah, no, we're doing things in a cool, calm, peaceful way, man. And besides saying "fuck the Titans" today, right?
Yeah, and we might strip. You never know. We might just start taking our clothes off.
Why is the puppets are stripping? You're always stripping,
dude. Well, I mean, if you gotta flaunt it,
thing, man.
If you gotta flaunt it. Game number 2.
Ryan up the coffee and he just takes off clothes.
Game number 2, Eagles at Browns. The over-under is 47.5. The Eagles can't stop the run, and they're allowing 133 rushing yards per game. We got both Hunt and Chubb, who eclipsed 100 yards last week, which is pretty crazy. Wentz, he has a 58.2 passer completion percentage. He has 12 picks and has a 73.1 passer rating. And it will be raining and windy. Those icons did not come out. All right. And Browns, that's so weird. Why'd that happen? And in Browns, they have 159 rushing yards per game on offense. And last week, they ran for 150 yards in the fourth quarter alone.
Jeez. With
the advent of the Hunt and Chubb combo. Guys, what's behind these numbers?
Hunt and Chubb, clearly.
Jesus. When's the last time you've seen a pair of running backs eclipse 100 like that? Can you remember?
This wasn't the first time they did it this season.
What? Oh, they did the first game?
They did it before. Yeah, before Nick Chubb got hurt. They maybe even the second game as well. But I know that they each had over 100 yards of scrimmage yards. So yeah, they've been integral together. And I've been playing them both, which is not what you normally do with two running backs on a team. But I've been playing them both because they're each getting so much production.
Did they get you a win last week?
Odell Beckham. Yeah, I won last week. And I'm favored to win this week by like 50. Maybe. And I'm still in last place. God, it's weird.
And you're sport, but do you think there's a path to the playoff for you? Because you do have a stout, this combo is going to do wonders for you. I believe in the Hunt and Chubb.
How many more games until playoffs begin?
Well, we're at week 11, and then I think playoffs is probably 2 more weeks. So
yeah, probably
week 14.
Week 14.
I'm going to caution. I mean, I am a huge Chubb and Hunt fan. I have Hunt in most of my leagues because it was easy to pick him up in the 5th or 6th round. I've been playing Hunt almost every single week, and he's been giving me starter numbers. This is the worst week for the two of them. So are you sitting them? Probably not. Hunt, depending on who you have, you might actually sit Hunt. It's going to be a really, really tough battle against the Eagles. They have an amazingly good rush defense.
They do.
They very much do. It's their offense that lets them down. They were 0-9 on third down last week against the Giants. They made Daniel Jones kind of look like a starting quarterback. And I think they only had like 74 yards from scrimmage in the second half or something like that. They did not do well. But the Browns, they're 6-3, but their 5 of their 6 wins are against teams that only have 2 wins. So they haven't had the stoutest opponents. So they may just have popcorn muscles as far as that.
Well, I got to interject right now. I'm looking at the totals for the year. Philadelphia is 26th against the run, total yards per game. They allow currently 133 yards per game. Over the last 3 games, they've allowed 148 yards per game, and last game they allowed 151 yards. So I'm a little gonna push back on this narrative that the Eagles are a stout run defense. I think the Browns might just stay as solid as they've been. I think they might break 100 each again. What do you think? Darren, I'm saying, Darren, push-ups. What do you say? I say they both break 100 again. What do you say?
Push-ups from last week.
I won the push-up battle, and Dean came in here all mopey, and then he had to leave because he didn't want to do no push-ups. Darren.
You're saying they're both going to get over 100?
Yes.
All right, no.
How do you think one of them will get over 100?
If anyone, probably Chubb. I mean, obviously their volume is just so immense. And
Immense.
And look, to be fair, we talked about Chubb and Hunt. I think in week 2 or week 3 or something like that, where they were against another stout defense. I think it was Indianapolis, if I remember correctly, and they still performed. So hey, I hear you, but I don't think both of them are going to be over 100.
Okay. It is on the line, brother Dan. Where do you stand in that bet?
I think that they'll easily both get 100+ yards from scrimmage, right? I think
from scrimmage. Okay. All right. Well, I'm saying rushing yards.
He's an integral part of that little dump game for Mayfield.
Little dump game.
The little dump game,
I woke up this morning, had a little dump game.
Wheel routes and the little cuts. I mean, he's just doing. Wait. Would do that again, Darren? Okay. One thing we should. Here's my sleeper for this game is we should keep an eye on Miles Sanders. Myles Garrett is out. He is a huge part of that Cleveland line. Obviously, he has the most tackles for loss of down and the most sacks coming into this week, and now he is out. So I think that Miles Sanders may have a big day. He's been getting averaging 86 yards a game with 6 yards a carry the last 2 games. So actually the last 4 games, I think it is, or something. So he's been consistent. He's been getting better. And I with Carson Wentz being a coin flip about whether he's going to throw an interception or not. I think that Miles Sanders is going to have kind of a bigger day.
That's a good call. As long as he doesn't get hurt, which he's prone to do, I agree with you. I think he's going to have a great day.
Do you think they'll start actually passing to him like they used to? They've definitely stopped passing the running backs, which is weird because he's so good at catching it out of the backfield.
Yeah,
all right.
I mean, yeah. Well, the one thing I will, the caution there, I agree with you. By the way, I totally agree with you. The one potential caution is they did bring in Jordan Howard, who did absolutely nothing for Miami, but he's now been brought in, and the coach said, hey, I want to move more toward a committee system moving forward. So how that plays out today, who knows? But that was what the coach said this week.
Committee. There are 2 teams that have a 3-headed running back monster. It's getting crazier and crazier to deal with. I mean, it makes sense. If I was a coach, I'd be trying to implement that as a strategy. And I remember when it first started happening. Do you remember it was the Lion? It was the Giants with Earth, Wind, and Fire back in the day, and everyone was like, "Oh, which one are we gonna play?" And but there was one team to talk about it. Every other team had just some huge ass guy. Gave him the ball, and that guy plowed his head into concussion town. But yeah, now there are all these 3-headed monsters. Indianapolis has one. I'm trying to remember which the other one. Anyway, so guys, So we met Antonio Brown and he was in his presser. But did you know that mustache is traveling all around the world? Do you know that Antonio Brown's mustache? He's hitchhiking.
Oh, wow! Is that Mountain Kilimanjaro?
Yep. So this is the hitchhiking Antonio Brown. He's going on a walkabout. Right? Would you pick this guy up? I'd pick him up.
Hell yeah!
Yep. Pick him up. All right.
Oh yeah!
Just with a blood tash.
All right.
Ryan,
So
is that where he goes when he's suspended from the league?
this is where he was yesterday.
Oh.
No, Antonio Brown does what Antonio Brown does.
This came off his Instagram account. Come on, Darren.
Okay, all right.
Hey, Malkier tries. Give me a research. Go look up Matthew Stafford, please, and see if we have any updates on Stafford.
Besides his wife calling Michigan a dictatorship. You hear about that, Darren?
That was great.
Oh, God.
And then her response was just her like shopping, like talking, like, all right, like
she's like at Target. Hey, I'm really sorry.
My God,
I overreacted.
I don't even have time to stop. I just make news during my errands. I'm so important. Why does anybody give a fuck about what people say? What's that, Malkier?
Stafford is still listed as questionable.
All right,
but he is. Adam Schaffer is reporting Lions quarterback Matthew Stafford is expected to start in Week 11, confirming a report from earlier in the week.
All right. Well, if Shepard says he's gonna start, he's probably gonna start. All right. Let's move on. Do we have anything else to say about the Eagles at Browns besides the fact that Darren's gonna have to be doing push-ups live? But you could bring in a surrogate like me and just kind of, whatever, just do them like that. What did I just do? That looked bad. All right. Nothing else?
By the way, hey guys, I don't think we've addressed this. Are you on board with the Browns uniform? Do you like that just orange helmet? It's not even brown. You like it?
Yeah, I mean, I wish it was brown, but yeah, I don't know why it's not brown, but I do like the color. I like the plain helmet.
The Browns, but Anyways.
I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
I think okay.
All right.
Well, I like color. You see, I have a big elephant here. I like variety, man. I like.
All right, Dan only buys art with yellow, so it matches his tie. All right. Moving on to the third game. Yes, we are going to talk about the Patriots at the Texans. With the over-under of 49 points, the Pats are averaging the fourth fewest passing yards per game. So, and at one point they were on track to be having the lowest passing attempts ever. Last week they came in with the lowest passing attempts ever. All right, the Damian Harris, not a T, take that T out. Damian Harris, he's averaging 5.5 yards per rush, and he has 3 games over 100 yards. Texans defense are the NFL's high. They have the NFL high 167.4 rushing yards per contest. The Texans cannot stop the run. Is Damian Harris going to keep dominating the run game again? But on the other side of the ball, Duke Johnson returns. Are we excited? Yes, you should be, because the Patriots are not very good right now.
Hot take.
Hot take, and I think Duke Johnson's going to have a great game. This is I'm bringing. See, when I put it into a graphic, it's a really hot take. The Patriots are the 19th total offense, and the Texans are the 29th overall defense. All right, so typical underwhelming battle. I would not. Let's bring our friend Dean back in. Dean, are we with us? Dean is with us, and he's got his Eagles hat on.
Good thing we already talked about those guys, right?
I know.
He's finished with the tissues. He's missing the belts.
He's got his second place belt over his shoulder.
We already know what Dean would say on the Eagles, though. So
dog leash, because I've been dogged so hard.
Yeah.
Perfect. back.
Trying to fix my sound. I can barely hear y'all.
All right. No, well, you sound much better. Thank you for fixing all that. So, Dean, we're going to go back real quick. We just talked about the Eagles and Browns. Do you have anything you want to add except that glorious hat?
No, everybody in a Philadelphia Eagles jersey on the field is poop.
Okay.
Well, we were giving some love to Miles Sanders. We think he may have a good day today. He's going to get a lot of production at least.
Zach Ertz is out, so Carlos Rogers is a must start.
Richard Rodgers, yeah.
Richard Rodgers, thank you. Malky or Trice, can you look at the tight ends and look at Richard Rodgers and tell me what the overall consensus ranking is for Richard Rodgers this week? I believe he's probably top 5.
Carlos is his nickname.
Malky or Trice is like your intern. Are you getting college credit for this?
No, I'm just doing the searching so he can continue talking,
No, this is great. No, this is great. We're putting on a show. He understands the intricate nature of entertainment.
So
making this shit smooth. Sorry,
about earlier,
as I talk over you. Smooth.
At my buddy's
What?
house.
Smooth? What? Go on, yes?
Smooth.
You're at your buddy's house?
Yeah. I had to take care of his animals, so I went and fed the birds and the dogs.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Does he have TV over there? It doesn't sound like there's even like electricity where you went.
No, I lost connection. My phone died. It was rough.
All right. Malkier, what'd you find?
Number 25 for the tight ends. This is his average ranking.
Oh, no. That doesn't make any sense.
They've got him as high as 17. They got 20 experts checking out as high as 17, as low as 33.
Well, I think because Goddard is like number 8 or 10 or something like that.
You're right. They have Goddard over Rodgers. That's interesting. All right, Rodgers is 6, and Goddard is 6. And geez, anyways, well, I disagree with these experts. I think Richard Rodgers.
Let's remind everyone who's watching: if you have any want any advice, marginal or great as it may be, for your fantasy team, go ahead and ask right now in the chat. We will pop it right up. It gets priority. It's like your questions are like Jay-Z entering a club. You just walk right to the front door. You get right to the VIP section, baby.
Yes, we are contractually obligated to stop everything and answer your questions.
Contractually obligated.
All right.
Yep. So Pats and Texans.
What's that? Yes.
Are we on
Pats and Texans? Yes. What do we got for the Pats and Texans now? Pats at
I don't know about that excited, quote unquote. I mean, look, Duke Johnson's gonna get the volume, right? He's the guy now. But I think he averages like a little over 3 yards a carry. So I mean, are you playing him? Probably, yeah. That's running back 2 numbers if you get volume. But I don't know if excited is the right word for that.
Well, right now Houston is 2-7. They're only 1-3 at home. New England is 4-5, and they're 1-3 on the road. The Texans didn't score much at all against the Browns. It was 10-7, and they've lost 3 out of 4. They only are getting 87.6 yards rush per game in those 4. Mm-hmm. And the Patriots are kind of on a roll. They've won 2 in a row. They beat the Ravens 23-17. Harris is 100-plus yards in 2 of the last 3 games.
He's a revelation.
Kobe Myers has 50-plus reception yards in the past 4 games. J.C. Jackson has an interception in 5 consecutive games.
That's crazy.
The longest in the NFL right now, that streak. And Sony Michel is back.
Yeah. So what does that mean for the backfield of complications?
Yeah, that's big. Sony Michel back. I mean, Harris has been a revelation, as you said. Sony Michel's back. We're going to see if Belichick starts doing his whole committee approach.
How would he not, though?
Yeah.
I mean, I imagine, so let's talk to Malkier. He's a little bit unfamiliar with this. We have, Malkier, you've been running with Burkhead. Now, it gets even more complicated because their running back named Sony Michel is back in the lineup. He used to be a starting running back or one of the starters in a rotation, and he's quite good. So Burkhead is going to take a hit. Would you guys agree that Burkhead takes a massive hit with Sony Michel coming back?
Yes.
Yeah, he takes a hit.
Yeah. I mean, more of a hit to him than I would say Damian Harris. If there's going to be a committee, it's going to be between those two with Burkhead and whatever. But I've been wrong before because I've been wrong about all of that before. All right, so Dean Moxley is coming in with a question. Melvin Gordon the third or Nyheim Hines at a 0.5 PPR? Guys, look at that. Telling us if it's a PPR.
Who's this guy?
I don't know who this Dean Moxley is, but Melvin Gordon the third. Thanks for specifying. And Nyheim Hines.
Not.
I have a feel.
I'm a Hines guy.
I'm a Hines guy too. I like ketchup. But what's your take, Darren? I'm always interested in a real expert.
I feel very sorry that that's the choice between the two of them because neither one are doing very well. Hines has these blow-up games, right? And he was the big waiver wire pick after the first game of the season when he had 2 touchdowns, and then he was the big waiver wire pick a couple of weeks ago when he had the huge game there. I probably am more swayed toward him because Melvin Gordon and Philip Lindsay have I think over the last 3-4 weeks, I don't think either one of them has cracked the top 25 of running backs on any week for either one of them. So it's hard to trust Gordon. I mean, Philip Lindsay got, I think, 3 or 4 carries last week, so he's kind of fallen off, but I just don't trust Melvin Gordon. I think
Gordon has been given opportunities, and he has let me down every time I watch him. He just doesn't seem, that Chargers explosiveness that he had before he just isn't meshing right now.
Have you noticed that whenever these running backs get their money, right? Gordon got his big contract to move over. Le'Veon Bell gets his contract. They get the big contract, and then they're like, "All right, I'm going to the beach."
Is that what they're doing?
It does seem like Saquon Barkley, although,
that's what they're doing.
I blame.
I thought they were going to Oregon, baby. Sorry.
Saquon broke his legs, because he got his contract and said, "That's fine, just hit me, take me out. I'm just going to rehab."
That's what Dax tried to do, and he was like, "Oh man, I didn't get my contract yet. Oh, bad timing."
All right, the expert consensus rankings for these two are Gordon at 23 and Hines at 25. So the experts think Gordon over Hines, but our panel thinks Hines over Gordon. Dean, what do you think, Hines or Gordon?
I'm going with Hines for this game just because Gordon has been such a big letdown past 3-4 weeks.
Yeah, he's pooping his big boy pants, to quote another fun show we like. All right. Anything else about the Patriots and Texans we need to let our audience know before?
Yeah, let me just say real fast. The last time that they played, Deshaun Watson kind of went off. He had 140.7 passer rating.
Nice.
He had completed 72% of his passes.
Nice.
234 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and he caught a touchdown.
Nice.
So,
yes.
Whoa.
Yeah,
over under on him catching a cut touchdown.
Yeah, over under.
Fool me once, fool me twice. Shame on me.
I think Will Fuller, if anyone has a decent day, Will Fuller will have a decent day. My little sleeper is Jordan Thomas. He's the tight end for New England. He was just picked up off waivers a couple weeks ago, and he was a Texan. I can see him getting 4 or 5 catches, to be honest. So
kind of like the revenge game narrative.
Yeah, and he knows. I mean, every scrimmage you go up against these guys, even though it's not full contact, you still know their tendencies. You know how to slip into the zone. You know if someone's guarding you man, you can beat them and all that shit.
Awesome. Good.
I think Fuller and Cooks are obviously playable because of the Pats' bad passing defense. Don't forget, the law firm of Jacoby and Myers, the wide receiver on the Patriots. He gets I think 1000% of the passes from Cam Newton. I don't think there are any other wide receivers. So he's playable, but probably no one else on the Patriots side for the receivers.
Well, I was more referring to my tight end whisperer to my left here.
I'm like,
Thomas.
I was like,
Jordan
oh,
Jordan Thomas,
Jesus,
big
who's that? I'm like, Jordan Thomas. Like, geez, I don't who. Jordan Thomas. Anybody?
Keep an eye.
I feel like Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Thomas,
Jordan.
Thomas. Okay, so that was awesome, bro. You're doing great. Kicking it with the knowledge. We're trying to engage you with laughs. Look at that shit, and look at that. We're just
Who knew puppets can make such notes?
Look at the sausage being made. We got in the chat, Kevin, thanks for hanging out with us. I'm not going to post that weird chat question because you know I'm going to beat you this week. We're not even going to talk about it publicly. Get your comments and questions ready, everybody.
Oh, hey, Kevin, we did just play a Depth Charge Revolt beforehand. So you are infamous on our thing. You are part of our intro music now, man.
Yes, we did. And actually, at halftime, we're going to be playing the Whatnots. Is probably the only reason why he's watching is just to hear himself play.
He's like, God, I like that band.
All right, we have a Twitter handle at Whaley. Come follow us on Twitter. We actually have a Twitter poll, and I'm going to remind everyone what the questions are before we take our break. Let me get these banners off. I am getting better at this. All right, so here is our Twitter poll. Question number 1, over under Mike Davis at 79.5 total yards. Who will have, and number 2, who will have more total yards, Ronald Jones or Leonard Fournette? Number 3, will Terry McLaurin bring down 6+ receptions? Yes or no? Number 4, will Cleveland's defense register 4+ either sacks, interceptions, or fumbles combined? And then over under Taysom Hill with 1+ passing touchdowns. All right. So, and you can go over to Twitter and check that out. Now, we have time for one more breakdown, and then we will take our mid-show break. Things are moving along. As always, we are behind schedule. All right, the next game is the Steelers at Jaguars. The over-under is 46.5 points. James Conner, he has 58 yards on 22 carries the last 2 games, and that's their starting running back. Jake Luton went shark hunting. And he had 7 catches for 146 yards. The Jags defense is running a robust 283.9 yards per contest. The Steelers defense equals the first in sacks, and they have 36, and they're 11th in interceptions. And Jake Luton might quit football after this game. That's my expert breakdown opinion. Jake Luton is going to get broken. Not much really to talk about, right? You just play all your Steelers, sit all your Jaguars.
Yeah, I might be a homer here, but I mean, James Conner has to get it going. I mean, he's had 2 favorable matchups the last 2 weeks and has done nothing, but he's got to get going. So I'm personally going to be playing James Conner in my leagues. I'm hoping that I'm proved right, but man, it's looked bad. But yeah, the Steelers should go off here.
I think so. I feel like James Conner has always looked slow to me. Like he's never looks fast. So when I watch him this year, he still looks slow. I don't know if he's slowing down per se, or if it's just my perception of him just being not a plodding running back. But 22 carries over 2 games is not good for your RB1 at all. People drafted him pretty high, I'm assuming. What about the Jaguars running backs? Would you be even considering their backfield? James Robinson? Yes, no?
I think you have to. Yeah, I think you have to, just because, I mean, look, God, the Steelers defense is so strong. So as a fan, I'm very proud of my boys, but
you should be, man.
He gets a higher percentage of carries as a running back for the Jaguars than any running back in the entire NFL. So, like, his efficiency might drop this week, but How do you sit a guy who's number one in the league for getting the most amount of percentage of carries for your team? Tell me how do you?
I don't know. In fact, I'm looking it up. The experts agree with you. The consensus ranking has him at 8th, James Robinson. So even though the Pittsburgh is that stout, it's a volume play for sure. Okay,
that would be the only play in my head. I mean, you're going against 9-0 versus 1-8, and they won the first game, so they've lost 8 in a row. The Jaguars and C.J. Henderson is on IR. Which has not helped their defense at all. The Pittsburgh, as you mentioned, is leading the league in sacks. They're also leading the league in takeaways. Even though they have 11 interceptions, they have 17 takeaways. So they do cause fumbles. And only Myles Garrett has more sacks than T.J. Watt. T.J. Watt right now has 9 sacks. Pittsburgh, also their offensive line is second best in allowing sacks, and Jacksonville is the last in actually sacking. So I think Big Ben's going to be sitting back there with all the time in the world. He's going to pull up a lazy boy. He's going to pack a pipe, and he's going to sit there and drink a cognac, and then throw the ball to whomever he chooses.
Well, I mean, that's kind of one of the issues. Which wide receiver is going to make payday today? Someone's going to. Who do you think it's going to be, Darren?
Yeah, I mean, that's the weekly question, right? And fair enough, because everyone's getting volume. When Deontay Johnson is healthy, I'm coming around to my leaning toward Johnson if everyone's healthy, because on a week-to-week basis, he tends to do a little bit better than Juju and with Claypool. Now, Claypool can always go off. Juju gets his now much better than earlier in the season. Johnson just has a higher ceiling, a higher floor if he's healthy. So again, who has all three? Who has to make that choice? You're obviously choosing between one of the Pittsburgh wide receivers and someone on another team. I think they're all playable. So that's the point. Like, I play any one of them this week. If you have them, depending on who you're deciding between. But I'm leaning toward any of them if you're trying to decide.
Yeah, even though he only has 4 touchdowns, he has 37 receptions, which is second in the league. He's targeted a lot, and his touchdown ratio should have been a little higher. I would guess this being week 10, but it's just
going back in the archives, I do want to say I did publicly call him out. I said Deontay Johnson's going to be a revelation. Don't look out for him. He was injured, and then when he came back in that first game, boom, what was it, 2 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns?
So wait, you said that earlier in the season?
Very much, yeah.
Okay, then I'm changing my mind. It's Claypool. Claypool is definitely the top receiver.
What a contrarian.
Is this,
and he gets removed.
In the sin bin.
I removed you. Just kidding.
You got bumped.
Last thing on this game is, look, we're all expecting the Steelers to just crush them. What does that mean? Garbage time for the Jaguars. Yeah, the efficiency is going to be bad. Luton's going to be sacked all the time, but Chark is probably going to get some volume because he's going to have to be throwing 60 times to try to catch up. So Chark, if you need him, might be playable.
Well, what's your over under the 3.5 sacks total against Luton?
Oh, over.
Yeah, I'm thinking at least 4. But Ryan,
I think. Sacks, total sacks.
Yeah.
4. Okay, yeah. Over 3 or over 4? Are we saying
3.5?
All right, 4. Yeah, 3.5. Good. Yes.
Over.
Hearing you.
Okay.
Yes, I agree.
Okay.
Over. Good call.
All right.
Wow, there was way more analysis than I thought. I thought it was just going to be like all Steelers, F the Jags, move on. Actually, there's some narrative out there that it's just going to be such an easy road, and the Steelers don't really have much to play for except for that undefeated record that they might pull off on the domination, and there might be more garbage time scoring allowed, if they're just in a huge lead. I've heard that narrative. So the Jaguars might not necessarily be a dead play if that plays itself out and they're just, the Pittsburgh are just like putting in their second string or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway,
You want to jump? Do you want to do one more game before we break, or you want?
Let's do one more game. Yeah,
Let's do one more.
One more.
Dan's on fire. Dan's on fire.
I mean, he's right. We have we're on game 5 of 13. So here's the next game.
Yeah.
Thanks for the pacing advice. Yes, another low scoring expected over under total Bengals at football team. The Washington football team. The over under is 47.5 points. The team gives up the fewest passing yards this year and give up 320 total yards per game, which is 11th in the league. Bengals give up 398.2 total yards per game as well. See the discrepancy there. Joe Mixon was placed on IR. Should return later in the year, but he is out. And the Bengals are the bottom 10th in all defensive categories. Joe Burrow has been sacked 32 times, which is second most in the league. Who has been sacked more than Joe Burrow? Do we know?
Carson
Russell
Wentz,
Wilson?
I'm sure.
What's that?
Carson Wentz, I'm sure.
Oh, man. Yeah, he gets banged around like a ping pong ball. All right, so what's behind these numbers, guys? What is behind these numbers? What are we learning? What do we need to tell our audience?
I'd be surprised if it's that high, the score. I just feel like it's going to be a lower scoring game. McLaurin, the wide receiver for Washington is a starter. I mean, he's top 10 seemingly every week. He's a stud. He does have a harder play this week just in terms of the corner that will be playing him, but you're still playing him. But I think Sims on Washington, who's kind of their wide receiver too, could be playable here. The Washington's defense is really, really good.
Yes.
I think it's not going to require too many points, for them to win. I don't think.
So how many sacks over under? 3.5 sacks for Joe Burrow?
That's a good question. I might.
He's already had 32.
I might still go over.
I think TJ Watt might get not one. Never mind, not TJ Watt. Sorry, blah blah blah. But yeah, I think over 2. They have. I think. Why would that trend stop in this matchup? Washington's great.
I mean, the thing that goes for Burrow, because I've been trying to decide whether I play him in a league, is volume. I mean, he passes so much. So I think Washington is going to limit his efficiency, but he just passes so much.
Yeah. Now, how about the, what's that? The Alex Smith. Alex Smith. Tell me about Alex Smith. I'm trying to remember the award I gave him. What's the award? The comeback player of the year. Yes. Yeah. Thank you. There you go. Alex Smith, my comeback player of the year nomination. What do we think about his?
That was a very good call. He had 390 yards last week against Detroit. They lost. He didn't throw any touchdowns. He didn't throw any interceptions. But 390 yards is nothing to sneeze at all. But they still did lose to Detroit, which is not a very good team. They're only 2-7 right now. They're 2-3 at home. The Bengals are 2-6-1. They're 0-4 on the road. So we've been talking about home field advantage, but the Bengals haven't lost or have not won outside of Cincinnati yet.
Joe Burrow likes it to be close to his mommy.
So Antonio Gibson right now, he is the top rookie running back with 7 touchdowns. Wow. McKissick is the third leading running back in receptions with 41.
Yep. Wow. Yep. Out of the slot.
Chase Young, he leads the rookies with 3.5 sacks. And Kendall Fuller has 3 interceptions in his last 4 home games.
Jeez.
For the football team. For Cincinnati, they lost to Pittsburgh. They're 1-4 in the last 5. They've lost 11 straight to Pittsburgh, actually. Last game, he was sacked 4 times. He was 0-13 on third downs. Was not a great performance at all. Joe Mixon is still out, so Gio Bernard has been stepping up a bit. But they do allow the third most passing touchdowns in the league at 21. So I do think this is going to be another Alex Smith day, big time.
Do you think if this man was mad at you, does the mustache make you more afraid or less afraid?
Yeah, less afraid.
I like the little tattoo. No, put it back. I like
Yeah.
the tiny little like danger tattoo that's just creeping up under his.
Let's all
neck
speculate.
right
Yeah, what do we think this says? Do you think it says mustache life?
I think it says the way of the leaf.
The way of the leaf. Speaking of beautiful facial hair, let's introduce our friend Joe from Talkerandriod. Hello, Joe. Welcome back. And we cannot hear you, buddy. Yep. Modern technology.
Gotta love it.
I mean, I think he was so stunned by the knowledge you're dropping, Dan. He just like it's
like,
messing with his ones and zeros.
Stats. No, we can't. I saw that you unmuted, but we don't have a mic on you.
Cannot hear you. All right. Well, we will. All right. So we were talking about, again, the Bengals at the football team.
Yeah. I'd like to reiterate, I think it's going to be Alex Smith's birthday. He's gonna have another big game, and I do think he's going to have at least 2 touchdowns in the air.
Oh, nice.
I do feel like this is a game where this show does a great job. We give many fish to people who need advice on fantasy football, but this game is one of those opportunities where we can teach people to fish, I think, and figure things out for themselves. And what I mean by that is if Gibson and McKissick, the running backs for Washington, are so tied to game flow, right? So if Washington's ahead, Gibson's going to have a great day. If they're behind, McKissick has a great day. And so for those of you who are watching, and if you're trying to decide, you need to figure out for yourself, does Washington have a good game or a bad game? Are they going to be ahead or behind? And then you can determine on your own which running back is going to have a good game.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Hello, Joe. Hey, you
Yes, Joe. That beautiful sonorous voice coming through like a dream come true. How are you, my friend?
I am doing good. So soccer season is over for my daughter, so I can make these now.
Nice.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful.
It's getting cold for soccer, anyways.
Yes, it is. So I can make these probably till the end of the season. So I enjoyed the first one I got to come to, and I've been kind of missing it. So
Yes.
Well, you just jumped in almost right in time for our break.
perfect.
Speaking of soccer,
Mom, Lisa's ruining football. American football.
yes, we are talking about American football. American football.
Football is rigidly timed.
All right, so yes, we're
George
coming up.
Carlin.
We're coming up to our break. We've already seen our friend Antonio Brown. He was on the road. Where is Antonio Brown now?
Yeah, where's he?
Oh, I think he went to a carnival. Yes. I think he's at the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk precisely right now, actually, even though game time's coming up. Antonio Brown does what Antonio Brown does.
Antonio, most people don't win those games, but most people are not Antonio Brown.
That is true. Good
Antonio
point.
Brown, king of carnival games.
Most people are not Antonio Brown. So we are going to take a break, and we're going to be listening to some music, and we are going to take a 10-minute break. So everyone mute your mics, and we will be back shortly. I'm going to put the Twitter poll up during the break.
He screams loud, she screams quiet. All her life, all her life. So she dyes her hair and she paints her face white. She don't fucking care. She don't fucking care. Her friends, they don't like her either. So she hates her life. Yeah, she hates her life, and she wouldn't die for them. A life for Robert Smith. A life for Robert Smith.
And welcome back. Welcome back, everybody. We enjoyed a 10-minute break. Puppet's got a pee too. And let me get the music back going. And we are golden. We are golden, Pony Boy. I think we...
Just like we were when we were peeing, right? Sorry. I mean, just like my tie.
That if there's low hanging fruit, we're whacking at it. All right, so
Eat your world. No.
I thought we lost Joe, but Joe is back. Thank you so much.
I accidentally closed out the browser window.
Joe, how are you feeling about your week's matchup?
I'm feeling better now than I did a few days ago. But I've been suffering the last couple of weeks from, getting burned by my bench. So, like, the last 2 weeks I lost, and if I would have played other players, I would have won both those weeks.
Oh, that's the worst.
Yeah.
And then you get that grade from Yahoo reminding you what you just did.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, nice D, buddy.
Yeah, Yahoo. If I would have, maybe if your projections were better, I would have played the right players.
Ooh.
Yeah, maybe if you just watched our show, you.
I was about to say, watch our show, Joe. Jesus.
Let's see, daughter soccer.
Dr. Darren.
Fantasy football.
All right. Did you know you could follow us on Twitter, Joe, and ask us questions directly on Twitter?
I saw that.
You don't have to recently. You don't have to wait for the live stream. You could interact.
What is that handle, Ryan?
Well, it is at Way League. At Way League. Awkward AF, but at Way League.
At Way League. We got to come out. We got to figure out what WAY means. We'll figure something out.
And everyone, we are on Twitter. We are actually right now, Twitch. We are live streaming currently on Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube. We are everywhere.
I love Twitch monsters.
We are ubiquitous. We're the ubiquitous Way of the Fantasy League. Fantasy advice from fantasy nerds. Joe from Talk Randoroid has joined us. We are going to continue to give you injury updates, and we're going to continue to go through the matchups. And we are behind schedule, so I'll start talking faster.
What game are we on now?
We are on Lions at Panthers. Lions at Panthers. The over-under is 46.5 points, another meager point total. The Lions are giving up 400 total yards per game. Brother Dan, shameful.
Defense wins championships, obviously. Look at the Lions' record.
Christian McCaffrey is out, but it doesn't matter. I think you could put in your uncle who drinks too much in at running back, and he will be able to get 100 yards against the Lions. The Lions' offense is tied with the Raiders for the highest drive success rate allowed. Right? Look at that, 79% drive success rate. So when you get the ball and go against them, you're either going to have a field goal or a touchdown almost 80% of the time. That is gross. Those are gross numbers from a gross team. But we're playing fantasy. We're not betting. This is not a betting show. We want to know who's going to get those numbers. Marvin Jones, yes. Anybody else?
TJ Hawkinson, perhaps.
Hopefully. You know who has even grosser numbers is Mike Davis over the last 4 weeks. Like, he hasn't hit 70 yards combined, rushing, passing, receiving. He hasn't hit 70 yards total in 4 games. Obviously the matchup is much better for this game against Carolina, against Detroit, but. Man, those are some gross numbers.
They are.
Do we have a status update on Teddy Bridgewater?
Oh, hey, Malkier. Boom. Teddy Bridgewater.
He has an MCL sprain. He is questionable from what I remember.
They're going to try him out. The word was that he was going to try it out before game time and see how it goes. And I think we are still in the morning game, so he is probably trying it out as we speak. So,
if not, we are going with PJ Walker.
Oh, is he out?
Quarterback.
He is deactivated for his.
Oh,
guys,
man!
If you need someone, pick up PJ Walker.
Maybe.
He is unknown. So let me.
Well,
give
against
you
the Lions, yes. Good point. Yes.
Can I give you a little information about PJ Walker?
Please tell me what.
He is from the second generation XFL. He was picked up from there. Last week he was 2 for 4 for 12 yards. But he is from originally Temple University. And in the XFL, he averaged a 104.4 passer rating, 15 touchdowns, 4 interceptions.
Well, okay. So, and you're pretty confident that the Lions are so bad that that's going to equal a good game?
Well, with that, combined with DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson, they're each on pace to break 1,100 receiving yards. And you have Curtis Samuel, who just hit 21.5 miles per hour, which is the third recorded in the NFL this year. He has some back with him. There's no McCaffrey, but he does have an arsenal, and I think that he has enough weapons against a shitty Lions defense. I think PJ Walker. All right, over or under. PJ Walker fantasy points. I will say 13.5.
Over.
That's not very. It's not very bold.
I know.
No. I mean, if he throws 2 picks and I mean, he could do completely dog shit. I'll stick with 13.5. So you guys go over.
Yep, over. Yeah, no, I think no. Your arguments were making me want to pick him up and start him. Then you said 13. I'm like, well, I could do better.
Well, Carolina's only 3-7. The Lions are 4-5. I think here's my sleeper is Kerryon Johnson. I think Kerryon may have a decent day. We have Swift is out, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So
are you guys playing Adrian Peterson? Who's playing Adrian Peterson?
I think Kerryon's going to have a decent.
You think so?
He's going to have the sleeper. But Galladay and Amendola are out.
Would you say that Kerryon is going to take the lion's share of the load?
No, I was waiting. No, I was like, is it going to be something about carries?
You're making me pant hurt.
Everyone, talk around Riyadh. Well, if you want such amazing witticisms. All right. And so we think Stafford. Remember, we looked up Matthew Stafford. Is Stafford playing?
I think he is. I think
he's probably still listed as questionable, but he's probably in the same protocol as Bridgewater right now. Just
no, he's active. He's playing.
All right. Well, no, that's big news. He is active.
I think he said he was just going to throw with his left hand this week.
No, he does that weird sidearm thing. Maybe he could do it with both arms. All right. And my final note is that DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson are both top 5 in yards after catch. And Okuda is still in there, but he's fourth in the rotation. He's the worst cornerback in the league. I think that this is going to be a fun day if PJ Walker knows how to throw a ball to these guys.
So, Dean, you think you can go 7 carries for 55 yards and a touchdown against Detroit?
I think so.
All right.
I think that's pretty reasonable.
Over under Dean Moxley, 55 yards. Only on 7 carries. That's a really high yards per carry. Are you going to break one big run, or are we segmenting these evenly out?
I think I get 2 15-yard runs and then split the other 25 between the other 5 carries.
Beautiful. I think I just fall for 1 yard at a time. I can get a career of that. Just fall forward. And please just.
I
fall
think even
forward.
that's harder than it looks.
That's one tall puppet. Island forward a full yard.
Yes. Hey, Amazon, you too can dominate the airwaves, spread joy to men and women and in-betweeners. Joe,
So I
you
think the
look
Lions
thoughtful,
right
Joe.
now-
What's going on with you? You look thoughtful. Are you pondering? What are you pondering?
Nothing related to fantasy football.
Beautiful.
No, I'm
right.
pondering if I'm going to get burned again this week by playing the wrong guys. You know, that's what every week is.
Yes. You want to take a look at your team?
Oh, should we do a lineup check?
You want to do a lineup check?
Yeah.
Oh,
Let Ryan hit it. Lineup check.
Wait, don't be premature.
Wait.
Okay.
5.
Lineup check. We're not linked up on that at all.
All right. No, it's all right. It's all right. You're doing great. This is improv. That's fine.
I know. I don't think. Well, all right. So actually, look at this beautiful team. This is my team. Oh, feeling good about myself. Actually, these are difficult times. Aaron Rodgers against Indianapolis. Not feeling good about that. Marvin Jones, Mike Williams. He's hit or miss. Yeah, I'm actually a little bit nervous this week. I'm a little bit nervous, but let's look at Joe's team specifically, because you look verklempt, my friend. You look positively verklempt. Where's the league? All right, boom. Here's our standings, everybody. Let me spread this out. Look at that. Gloriously, I am on the top.
Everyone fits but me. Oh, there it is.
There we go.
Oh, there you are. And here we are. Dean's in third. And I'm going. Where are you, Joe? Oh, all the way down. Joe, all the way down there.
I know.
You were didn't you lead, or weren't you at second at one point?
I was in first place for the first
you were
couple of
first,
weeks,
yeah.
I think.
Right. Well, such is the way of fantasy football. Here we are. We have Patrick Mahomes, Brandon Cooks, Jerry Jeudy. God, he is surging, but I would not be happy against Miami. Aaron Jones, again, Indianapolis is the best at stopping the run.
Yeah.
Duke Johnson, Mike Gesicki, Robbie Anderson. He's been fun to own, huh?
I don't know why A Hero's Journey dropped him, and I was like, what? And then I picked him up. I was surprised I got the claim. I thought somebody else was going to snatch him up.
That is pretty surprising. And then we have Alan Lazard. Now, I'm actually really interested. If he is active, I'd actually be interested in.
I think he's active, but the coach said that they were going to ease him in.
Yeah. I was debating on playing him this week, but seeing how, they're going to ease him in, and plus they're playing Indiana, I was like, let's just, Indianapolis, sorry. I was like, let's wait a week and see.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm looking at all these. Where were you feeling like your bench is going to do good? Because
I'm not seeing you.
Unless we're looking at Dobbins, like this is Washington. Nope. Against Pittsburgh. Nope. Against Indy. Not even playing.
Yeah.
Who? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's not that. It's just that, one of these guys that I have starting is going to lay an egg, and one of these guys on my bench is going to have a great game. So
you're basically like you're like a trauma victim right now.
I think you have the best lineup that I would have picked your lineup as well.
Yep.
Yeah, I went by what I thought.
I think this gets the way of the Leafs seal of approval.
Thank you.
Although Joe, if you want to make sure that you don't make any wrong moves, if you just bench everyone, then you'll make sure that you didn't choose the wrong
clean
person.
slate.
That's probably
Tabla Rousseau. Just do your clean.
That's the Ouija board.
Hey, what other fantasy football show is going to bring up Latin? Bring up Latin. Never mind. Hey guys, what do you guys think about Latin?
Yeah, liaison.
All right. Anybody else wants their team to be publicly shamed?
Yeah, throw it up.
Oh, all right.
I could use some advice.
Is that how you feel about your team? Throw up.
Throw it up.
Throw it up. All right, Daniel the Puppet, bro.
I think I'm winning this week.
I do want to point out Dan has the greatest icon ever.
my lines right there, my bandana.
You again, like that's gangster bandana, and you think it looks like a farmer. It's so funny. All right, so Matt Ryan at New Orleans. New Orleans is like the surging defense. They have the last 5 games, like the top defense.
Well, this is so. Do I go
Derek Carr against? Yeah. Good. All right, let's debate. Let's debate, guys. Matt Ryan or Derek Carr.
That's a good one.
I think Matt Ryan is. The efficiency of the Falcons over the last 4 or 5 weeks has increased. Off with Julio Jones coming back. I mean they're starting to fire all cylinders. So I think he's been up and down, but I think it's probably a better. The Saints defense, stops the run. They're not as good. They're not as good against the pass. So I think Matt Ryan's probably the call.
Thank you.
They are ranked 9th and 15th respectively. So it seems like Matt Ryan would be the way to go there from the consensus rankings.
9th is pretty good.
Yeah, because I imagine. Well, last time the Raiders beat the Chiefs, right? And the last time they played.
Which is why the Chiefs are going to crush them this week.
Yeah, so you think that they're going to be throwing a lot because the Chiefs will probably be ahead.
Well, yeah, so we'll get into that game, but the Raiders, when they beat the Chiefs, they did a fucking victory lap around Arrowhead Stadium.
Yes,
bus.
yes.
That's good stuff, though. I love
and
that.
then Andy Reid publicly was like, I did not like that.
Yeah, it was like Gruden's like, take another one, boys. Raiders.
All right, so you are
Gruden impersonation.
Oh, I hate
so
that.
I'm hoping Hawkinson's going to have a decent game. I got Chubb and Hunt and Chubb. Cooper Kupp has been dog poop for me, kind of. But I got Keenan Allen. Yeah, it's just I got a lot on the same team,
Well, yeah. I mean, let's look at is there anybody you would play over? Oh, I mean, you have okay. Well, I mean, would you play Michael Gallup over Cooper Kupp this week?
Guys?
Tampa Bay's got a stout defense.
You beat me last week, so.
What do we think about Michael Gallup? All right, so
guys, let's try and get me into the playoffs. I'm in 14th
look
place.
up Michael Gallup and then Cooper Kupp, Kupp, and tell me.
Is Andy Dalton playing this week?
I think he is.
He is the Red Rocket. Will he throw it to the right team this game is the question. I think he was confused what team he was playing for.
I actually think Jarvis Landry gets enough volume. I might actually even play him over Kupp because Tampa Bay's.
Ooh.
Oh my God, Tampa Bay is so good. And with Josh Reynolds becoming the #1 wide receiver for the Rams, I mean, Sean McVay has not only made their running backs a complete disaster by having, for fantasy purposes, for, the committee approach. Now their wide receivers are a committee approach, where Josh Reynolds is their number one, and then Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods are no longer getting their volume.
Wow. Okay. Which is, yeah, you're right. Good call. But, Jarvis Landry, that's yeah. Yeah. That's, what are you thinking? What do you think?
I think,
Brother Dan, what do you think?
Kind of a little boomer bust, But yeah, I'll do it. Fuck it. I'll follow. Yeah, guys, I'm following
the way of the Leaf. This is the way.
Okay. Did it change? Hit reset.
Is it consensus Gallup or consensus Landry?
Well, what's the ECR? What's the expert consensus rankings, Malk?
Well, Gallup is 46th.
Oops. Poop.
Landry is 38th.
Poop.
Mm-hmm. And
Cup is like 18 or something. Yeah.
Cup is 19th. Yeah.
No, I mean, yeah, the experts are like very much in your favor, keeping Cup in. Keenan Allen. Yeah, I would definitely keep him in. Okay. Yeah, no, Dan, I think this is your lineup, buddy.
As far as my matchup goes, I'm expected to win 112-78.
So there is a big question about who the Rams cornerback, who was it? The Gilmore, or who is it? Their shutdown. Who is he going to be following? Is it going to be Evans? There's a question mark, because if Evans is the one he's targeted over Antonio Brown, he might get nixed. He did it to DK Metcalf pretty hard. So...
yeah, I think the expectation is he will be covering Mike Evans more, but not exclusively. But I don't trust any. I mean, Godwin's probably the number one out of all of them, but I don't know if I trust almost any of the wide receivers for Tampa Bay against the Rams.
No, that's how I'm feeling. I would not be necessarily be playing Mike Evans.
But again, look, this is your screen right there is a perfect example of what everyone has to deal with, right? Like, okay, so who else are you playing, right? We just talked about the guys on the bench here. You're obviously playing Mike Evans compared to the guys on your bench, I think, but I'm not excited about it.
Guys, did you know Antonio Brown's in the desert right now on a peyote trip?
Did he dye his mustache?
Yeah, no, it grew out that way naturally.
I didn't know if that was sand on his face, maybe.
No, if you do enough peyote, you can.
He was sucking the root of a cactus and came back, and it was just sand.
So the Antonio Brown journey starts off. He's in his presser, and then he said, "My life is devoid of meaning." He went out on the road. He's hitchhiking. He's on a walkabout. He went to Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. And now he is on a peyote trip. We'll check in with Antonio Brown as we progress forward. Guys, we really need to. Thank you so much. We are going to stop sharing our screens and get into the games. Our next game is Falcons at Saints. Right here on the... And as you see in the banner below, Drew Brees is out. Taysom Hill is the starter. I put a question mark. There is still the opportunity for tomfoolery and shenanigans with this business. The Falcons are giving up the 6th fewest rushing yards per game. It probably is meaningless against the Saints because of Kamara. The over-under is one. For me, my question, over-under, 1+ successful hurdle jump by Taysom Hill. Is he going to successfully jump over another human being again today?
I'm starting to think, I'm thinking this Taysom Hill thing is all a red herring. I think they're saying they're going to start him. He'll start, and then they're just going to bring in Jameis Winston for the rest of the game. They're trying to screw with the other team.
I'm worried about that, but I don't think that's going to be the case. I think it's just going to be like a 60-40, but 60% is probably good against the Falcons. The Falcons are giving up 30.3 points per game since the coaching change, and that's tied for 5th. I mean, no, they're scoring 30.3 points per game, and so they're the 5th best offense in the league right now. And Michael Thomas, he only has 18 targets for 95 yards on the year. Is he in the doghouse? What is going on with Michael Thomas? Is this a group? Is this like a karmic justice? When you punch your teammate, they're just like not going to throw you the ball.
Don't punch your teammate, man. Work it out.
I will say, we talked about the weekly Todd Gurley Award, which is the player who has horrible efficiency, but somehow finds the end zone each week to keep their fantasy. I don't think that Todd Gurley gets the Todd Gurley Award this week because I don't think he finds the end zone. I think he's going to be horrible. He's not going to find the end zone, and he's going to get you very few points this week.
Yep. If you're a Todd Gurley owner, you predict tears.
So the Falcons right now are 3-6, and they were 0-5 to start, but they're 3-1 with their new head coach. His name's Raheem Morris. The Saints are 7-2. I think the whole question is the Taysom Hill instead of Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston is a stud, guys, and I don't understand why this is even a conversation. He had over 5,100 yards last year at 33 touchdowns. The guy knows how to sling the ball in the NFL. But so this whole Taysom Hill, I think this is his first start ever. Okay. And the Falcons are coming off of a bye week. So I kind of expect the Falcons to kind of punch him in the mouth a bit. Ridley's back, which is good. But I think that the Saints D might be able to. I would be surprised if we see a rotating kind of shifting quarterback situation where Taysom Hill will come in, Jameis Winston will come in, Taysom Hill will come in, that sort of like USC style of quarterback management this week.
I mean, yeah, I'm okay. So, I mean, I imagine there's going to be like maybe 5 to 6 plays where they're on the field at the same time. But so I mean, basically, Joe thinks it's a red herring. He would not be starting Taysom Hill. I have Taysom Hill in another league. I'm starting him. Darren, you're starting him.
I am. Look, if we are to believe Sean Payton, and I heed Joe's warning, which it could be a red herring, but if we are to believe Sean Payton, he did come out and say basically the decision came down to a promise that he made to Hill in the offseason when he was getting his 2-year extension, where he said if Drew Brees goes down due to injury, you will at least have a starting gig for at least one game. You will be our starter and you will play the game. He also said this week that Jameis Winston had they're not planning to have him as part of any offensive play this game. So again, maybe a red herring, but if we believe his words, that's what he said this week.
Well, I'll take him at his word, and I don't think it's a great decision, but I'll take him at his word until it's proven otherwise.
You're not playing Hill over a proven quarterback, right? So if you're actually considering him, you know your other quarterback that you're thinking about is probably borderline top 12 kind of quarterback. I'm thinking if you just look at his rushing alone, he probably has a floor of 10, 14 points just as a floor through rushing alone. So any of the passing against the league's worst passing defense is bonus.
Hasn't he had a couple turnovers this year?
He's had a couple fumbles, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Interesting. Yeah. No one is. I mean, it's kind of really fascinating to try and imagine what's behind the decision, what's going to happen. This is the game of the week, in my opinion. Is this the shiny new Porsche that he's finally unleashing? Have they just been tuning this up? Is this going to be the future of the Saints?
And is this
starting today?
Promised fulfillment the best for the team? Who knows?
Yeah. I mean, good question.
Blah.
Good points. Hey, did you guys know that Antonio Brown is now in Wakanda?
Well, I thought that was like Southern California during the fire season.
John, yeah. No, this was my high. Yeah, Northern California looked like this for a month. It was amazing. Yeah, no, this is Wakanda. Yeah, he brought his mustache to Wakanda. All right, we are moving to the next. Anybody have anything else to say about the Falcons at Saints? Darren, I actually want to disagree with you. I believe that Todd Gurley is going to get a touchdown. So,
all right,
official.
Give Todd Gurley the Todd Gurley Award of the Week.
All right.
I think obviously, I think Kamara is going to have a big game.
Yes,
he's going to. Especially with the new quarterback, whomever it may be.
He is a transcendent figure in sports for sure. He's one of the most fun running backs to watch in my lifetime. Yeah. Moving on to a team of surprises, the Dolphins and Broncos. What is going on with the Dolphins this year? Over under is 46.5 points. Miami undrafted first year back Salvin Ahmed. He came in first game ever. He had 85 yards and his scoring touchdown. Matt Breida returns though. Who's going to be in the backfield for Miami? It's hard to discern. Miami is giving up the 8th lowest completion percentage, which at 62.8. He has 8, and they have 8 interceptions and are yielding the 4th fewest passing yards per road game. So we're on the road and 194.5 yards. And Drew Lock, he has 10 interceptions in the last 7 games. Drew Lock struggling. Whoop,
Can we just say don't play anyone and move to the next game?
Is that how y'all feeling?
Question is Ryan Fitzpatrick the best backup quarterback in the NFL?
Over Nick Foles?
Is Nick Foles not the starter in Chicago now?
Oh, I mean, that's a good point. Yeah, I mean, no. Currently, right now, is he the best backup? Yes.
He's the furriest. He's the furriest of backup.
Unless you is Teddy? Well, right now, hey, is he better than Teddy Bridgewater? Because Teddy Bridgewater's back up now. I say Bridgewater is better than Fitzpatrick.
Bridgewater,
Dolphins are rolling, man. Dolphins are rolling, and I mean, this could be if Tua wins, this would be 4 straight wins, which hasn't happened for a rookie quarterback. His first 4 straight starts as a win since Big Ben Roethlisberger.
He has 0 interceptions.
Dolphins have won 5 in a row after starting 1-3, and they've forced a turnover. Going back to last season, they've forced a turnover in every game for the last 15 games.
Beautiful.
They also have allowed less than 21 points in the last 4 of the last 5 games. Tua has not thrown a pick yet, and the Dolphins have a phenomenal special teams as well. And the Broncos are kind of doing – they gave 5 turnovers last game to the Raiders. You mentioned Drew Lock. Drew Lock has 10 this year. He's had an interception in 5 straight games.
That's efficiency.
They've allowed 30 or more points in the last 4 games, which has not happened for the Broncos since 1968. They have no offensive identity. Drew Lock is throwing 55% completion rating, which is the worst in the league.
Yep.
Melvin Gordon had 11 carries for 46 yards. They may, Jerry Jeudy is not looking like he's a stud, but he doesn't have a cannon to throw who's thrown to him.
Yeah. He gets peppered though. I mean, he is a good volume play. You still play him, but you almost don't expect the touchdown. You almost expect like 8, receptions for like 75 yards. But you don't. Yeah, he hasn't been scoring a lot of touchdowns for sure.
So I think the Dolphins D is going to get. I'm guessing at least 2 turnovers in this game from Locke alone.
Damn.
So in Judy's last 3 games, he's been targeted 10, 14, and 8 times.
Yeah, that's a lot.
He's getting a lot of targets.
But does he have any touchdowns? I think he has 1 touchdown in the last 3, right?
Yeah, he doesn't catch many. That is a problem. I don't even know. I don't watch the Broncos, but he's targeted 10, only caught 4. Targeted 14, only caught 7. Targeted 8, only caught 4.
No! He's like,
so here's the question.
I got it! Oh,
do we think Tua is going to throw a pick today?
No.
To the Broncos?
No, let's go. Tua. I want that story to be real. He's really, really looking great. So many rookies right now just look like the future is bright for the NFL right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was. I mean, Herbert is blowing everyone's minds. I mean, I've watched a couple of his games. He looks like Peyton Manning to me, which is amazing. And now Tua is coming in, and he is being compared to Marino, right? Who is he being compared to?
Well, I mean, Big Ben so far, kind of as far as winning 4 straight.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
All right, well,
Yeah.
all right, we'll get off the Tua train. We will continue.
Right.
Anybody else have anything to say about that matchup?
I love him.
Yeah.
Don't shake your head, Darren. You liked it.
Did you know Antonio Brown is now a part of the Tinkers in Wheel of Time?
They took him in. Did he have the song? I bet you he did.
He's searching for the song.
He keeps it around his necklace.
Has Antonio Brown ever been suspended for following the way of the Leaf? No, I know his ex-teammate Le'Veon Bell has.
Is this part of his punishment? He has to hang out with these people? Anger
They
management?
did that like seductive dance, and Antonio Brown's like, "This is my kind of party."
Well, they're good. They're good at running away, right? All right, so
and that seductive dance.
All right, Jets at Chargers. Over under is 47 points. Joe Flacco is to start, and Justin Herbert got a haircut. Very important details. The Jets offense. We have 98.9 rushing yards per contest. The Jets have allowed the 4th highest passing average YPA. So against them, you could pass for 7.9 yards per attempt. Herbert has 27 completions of 20 plus yards. It's looking good for this guy. Balaj, Kelly, and Pope are the 3-headed Chargers running backfield monster. I would avoid all of them.
I think Balaj is playable. He's getting the volume. You said 3-headed monster, but they're really going with Balaj right now. I mean, amazingly so. He's and the coach even said last week. He said, "I want to feature the run more," and which proved to be true last week. So I have Herbert. I picked him up in one of my leagues, and I've been playing him. Very happy to do so. But he was a little bit lower though last week. He still got, I think, 20, 21 points. Okay. But they were rushing a lot more, and I think they wanted to continue to do that this week.
You know what? All right. I think the experts agree with you over me, and I'm going to shamefully move out of the screen.
Yeah, so what do you think of Brashard Perriman? So the Jets are coming off a bye week. 2 weeks ago, he had 101 yards and 2 touchdowns.
He was hurt this last week. He's playing this week?
Well, it's off a bye, so I'm not entirely sure. I didn't see him on the ticker. But the Jets have the fewest offensive touchdowns in the league. They only have 10.
And it usually goes to Crowder.
Yeah. LA, they've lost 3 in a row. They just lost to the Dolphins. Air Bear last game though had 2 touchdowns and a rushing touchdown. His passer rating was 126, which is pretty fantastic. And they're the 4th most yards per game at over 404 almost yards a game. So he's airing it out. I like Air Bear a lot. I like watching him. He's a fantastic quarterback. I don't know who to compare him. I don't compare. He's just good.
But I mean, as a rookie though, geez, I mean.
So Ryan, you don't have a photo of him to pull up with the new haircut, right? He definitely looks like the absolute best varsity high school player in the NFL right now.
He looks like he was like in NSYNC or something.
I'll get on it. Don't worry about it.
All right,
Backstreet Boy.
It's all right.
All right. So anything? So yeah. I mean, have we exhausted that game?
Well, the Jets are 0-9. Chargers are 2-7. They've lost it in a row, but I see them bouncing back. I don't see the Jets. This might be the chance for the Jets to win, but I don't see it happening. Not on the road.
Not on the road. Yeah, no, I agree with that. I don't believe that. So, but you think it might be closer than the predictions are, huh?
Well, I mean, the Chargers are only 2-7, but They're getting a lot of yards. I think the Chargers are going to score a bit more than the Jets. Jets can't score. Jets aren't even averaging about a touchdown a game, which is pretty crap.
Yeah. Oh, geez, you absolutely. Yeah, that's a good word for the Jets. Pretty crap. Did you guys know that Antonio Brown is experiencing winter night with Rand?
Oh wow,
he's hiding from Trollocs.
Wow.
Yeah. Just wanted
Rand's
to know
like, hey,
he's getting around.
Like, be scared, and Antonio Brown's like, I ain't scared.
For half a second, I thought you were going to say he was hanging out with Narg, but
No, they're hiding together. Not yeah, they're being hunted. All right, next game. Packers at Colts. This is a very fascinating matchup. We got Rodgers with 26 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. The Colts are the NFC low, 198.7 passing yards per game. They don't allow very much happening in the air, and they are at home the best in the NFL at only allowing 175 yards per game. The Colts are the AFC's best run D also with 91.8 yards per game and only 3.17 TPC, what's going to be. And so, yeah, Marquez Valdez-Scantling last week, he had his 4 games for 147 yards. Is that a boom bust, or is that going to continue? And will Naheem Hines be the running back to play today and beyond? Is he taking over that job? What do you think?
He had 2 touchdowns last week, a rushing and a receiving. So at least he was part of them. And, I can't see why this would end today.
Yeah, I feel like he's. I mean, it's been slow to emerge, but I think he's going to be the one to own moving forward.
I think I like. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say. I mean, I agree with you. It's just that's a true 3-headed monster. If you look at the volume for each of the 3 running backs for Indianapolis, it's pretty equal. And so it's kind of like you have the same situation with the Rams. It's just hard to choose, but I agree with you. If you're going to play someone, it's probably him. I'm curious to see how the Packers play against Indy's tough defense. I mean, you're obviously playing all your studs, but if there's a tie break for any one of your fringe players for the Packers, I'm probably, depending on who you're considering, I might be going with whoever your alternative selection is. I think it's going to be hard for the Packers to do well against them, but we'll see.
Yeah, I'm nervous. I have Aaron Rodgers in the league where I am dominating. I am nervous. His first game all year, I've been nervous playing him. Guys, did you know that Antonio Brown is in the Magic Land with lovely lilacs and?
I bet he smells delicious.
Mm-hmm. He's trying to find maybe he's trying to match his shirt with the environment. It's not quite there, Antonio. Keep looking.
Well, this really is going to be offense versus defense right here. You have Green Bay, so they're 7-2. Colts are 6-3. Rodgers last game had 325 yards, 2 touchdowns, and rushed for a touchdown. And Marquez Valdez-Scantling had over 100 yards reception. I don't think he's going to pull that today, but Devontae Adams is has the highest reception yards in the league at 741. They're averaging over 400 yards of offense and 30.8 points a game. The Colts beat up on the Titans pretty handily.
Oh, man.
34-17. They kind of kicked their ass. And Naheem Hines had 2 touchdowns, which was not expected. Here's the stat I love, though. The defense, their coverage percentage is 21%. So out of 286 passes, 60 of them have been deflected or intercepted. And that is by far the best in the league. The next highest is in the teens. So over 20% of the passes, their coverage percentage is fantastic. So Rodgers is going to have to be pinpoint. This is going to be a challenge, and I think it's going to be a fun game to watch.
Football is technological.
Thanks,
To
Carlin.
that point, Carlin had something to say. No, this is going to be a crazy game to watch. I hope. I mean, obviously, I have all my eggs in one basket for the Packers, but I am worried. I think it's going to be a pretty low scoring game, actually. A lot of.
But
punting.
he does have 3 very good targets. He has Adams, he has Marquez Valdez-Scantling, and he has Lazard. Lazard may be the little sleeper here that he's going to kind of be doing those cut routes or whatnot and be the second or third option for Rodgers as well.
Actually, good question. Malkier tries. Can we look up Lazard? Is Lazard active today? Lazard, Lazard.
Lizard with an A.
Lizard with an A.
All right, guys, did we know that Antonio Brown is floating over Randland right now?
Look at
He explored all of Randland. Now he's taking in the.
So when they had the fight, when they had the fight, is that what it looked like?
Yes.
Brown just floating over.
Like the dark. He's.
That smile is so sly too. That smile is like, hey,
you don't want to stab me. You don't want to destroy me.
He's going on like one of those local tours where they're taking him to see where the battle took place up in the sky.
All right. Green Bay. Green Bay defense or New England defense? We have. Let's help our friend out. Green Bay or New England? I would.
I'm a fan of Green Bay defense.
Yeah, I'd probably choose Green Bay. I mean, especially their passing defense is really good. They I mean, the question is, turnovers and all of that. I still probably am. I'm probably swayed more toward Green Bay.
I also think Deshaun Watson may have a really good day against the Pats. I can see him stacking up lots of points. I don't know. Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, Houston's only 2-7, but yeah, I would probably stick with Green Bay.
Well, thank you, Mac Talks, for that question.
And plus, you wear Green Bay jerseys all the time. Just root for the home team.
They're already
in
the lineup. I just thought I'd throw a question in because Patriots are predicted to get more than the Packers, but I'm still going to play the Packers.
I would.
Anyone, if you guys have fantasy questions, throw them in the chat, and we will answer whatever questions you have about your lineup.
Just go back to Lazard. He is expected to play.
Okay. All right. Yes. So that 3-headed monster is back. Lazard might be a sneaky plug and play this week. All right. So Cowboys at Vikings. Not much to say, right? We got back post-concussion, post-COVID. Andy Dalton starting. He said COVID really beat him up.
If you have red hair, is that a pre-existing condition?
Might be. Who knows? The numbers will come out eventually. Yeah. Justin Jefferson turned in a 8 receptions for 135-yard game. It's a nice rebound after they've been going run heavy. Dallas is ranked 31st at stopping the run, though. So I don't think Justin Jefferson's really going to be that much of a play because it's going to be a Dalvin Cook game. Yep. All right, the Vikings are 5th best against rush. The 5th best rushing offense, which really means Dalvin Cook is the 5th best rushing in the league. And the Cowboys allow 32.2 points, which is the worst in the NFL. Real quick, guys, what about that game? Anything important?
Well, that's the big problem is the amount of points that Dallas gives up. They're not stopping anyone. And Dalvin Cook is going to just destroy this team, I think.
Do you think this is a game we could be playing Madison also, and Cooks and Madison, the backup? Is he a relevant play if you're desperate? Darren, I'm looking at you.
Yeah, I mean, look, they are very run heavy, as you mentioned. I think Dalvin. I think is it when did they play last or when did they play next? I think there's a short week. I think it's like 4 or 5 days in between. I think Cook is probably going to get 200 yards and 2 touchdowns in the first half, and then they'll go to Madison. I do agree. Like in a game like this, Madison usually gets 6 to 8 touches, even potentially 10 if they really stick to the run. So he could get some work. Cook is going to go up.
Minnesota is ranked 3rd in the league in rushing. The Cowboys are 28th in the league against the rush. I think your point was perfect, Darren.
Yeah.
I think that Cook is going to blow up, and then they're gonna just kind of just run out the clock and keep running, and Cook isn't going to be as part of it in the 3rd or 4th quarter. I mean, Dallas is giving up so many points a game. They had a bye last week, but they're coming off 4 straight losses. Ezekiel Elliott is not doing what we had all hoped and thought he could do. I mean, the last game he had 18 carries for 51 yards. Pedestrian. And we got the Red Rocket back. And so we do have Dallas did almost beat Pittsburgh. I mean, almost doesn't count for shit, but they did almost beat Pittsburgh.
Yeah, it was that was more like the defense finally stepped up. It wasn't like the offense. It wasn't like a blowout, like a lot of scoring, right? It was just kind of like a low scoring slugger.
Still in all, credit where credit's due.
Yes.
But they are only 2-7. I don't see them winning. I think they're going to be 2-8. Vikings are 4-5. Cousins right now leads in passing yards per attempt in the league, which is a little surprising. But he's not afraid to kind of sling it, or there's a lot of yards after catch. And they've won 3 in a row against division opponents, so they are rolling right now. I don't see that ending today. I think here's my sleeper, Chidobe Awuzie.
Okay. We don't need to know how to say their names to have pertinent opinions. Go on.
Chidobe.
And
guys, I'm running Chidobe. Do you guys want anything?
Guys, did you know that Antonio Brown is being investigated by the police right now?
Oh no! What happened?
Yeah, no, it's sad. He's back. Yeah, he's back in jail. He might not be playing today. Yeah, he went on his walkabout.
I like his attitude. His demeanor's good though.
Yeah, no.
I was wondering if he's being inquisited by the hand of the children of the light.
Yeah, he is now being he is being fully inquisited. And he's loving it. I think he's kind of loving it. I think that's what that means. In whatever language that shirt says, it means take me apart. All right, so we have 2 more games. Let's bang through them. It is game time, but these games are happening later. So we'll bang through these real quick. We have the Chiefs at the Raiders. Not much to say here. Basically, play every offensive player on each team, correct?
Yeah.
This is a blowout. 57 points is the over-under. Do you have anything? Let's not be too pert. Anything important to add to this?
Well, these are the top 2 teams in the AFC, so this is an important game for both of them.
Which sometimes has like that weird effect where all of a sudden, it could just be a different game script, and all of a sudden it's low scoring.
It is a division game, so that happens.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen this time. What do you think, Darren?
I think, no joke, the Chiefs are going to be pissed off that they lost against the Raiders before, and they're going to want to punish them. I really do. It's semi-flippant to say that, but I really.
But what does that mean about fantasy, though, for the Raiders? Would that change your decisions about anybody?
Yeah, I do think the Raiders are going to have a tough sled. I really do. I mean, Waller and Jacobs, that's their game plan every single week. You can't really sit them, but I don't think they're going to have the same success with the wide receivers as they did the last time they played the Chiefs. I just think the Chiefs are going to be ready for it. I think they were not expecting the Raiders to be throwing the long ball and everything else that Carr was able to do the last go around. But I think they're going to be prepared for it this time, and I think the Raiders wide receivers are going to have a really, really tough game. I think the Chiefs are going to be able to do whatever they want, which they normally can do it, but look it up. How many of the Raiders defensive players are playing this week? I think 6 or 8 of them are out for COVID and stuff. Do they even?
Yeah, they activated defense? 7 players off of COVID for this week.
But
God.
So keep in mind also. So the Raiders gave. Not only did they give the Chiefs their only loss, they gave Mahomes his only interception of the year. He's 25 touchdowns and 1 interception. and it was from those guys who drove a victory lap around around their stadium. They're coming off a bye week. Kansas City is. They've won 4 in a row, and they're the best offense in the league right now. And since their loss, they've been averaging 37 points a game since they lost to Las Vegas. So I think it's going to be a beatdown. However, we should keep in mind that the Raiders themselves have won 3 in a row. They forced 5 turnovers versus Denver. So I guess keep that with a grain of salt. But they did. They were picking off left and right log. So and there were 7 people activated just 2 days ago or something because of COVID. So I think
that fact really changes everything for sure. The COVID impact might be a real game changer for obviously seven new players, but if that weren't the case, I was going to be leaning more towards this being a lower scoring game and closer, and maybe the Chiefs eking it out with a field goal and not this blowout that we're talking about. Don't sleep on the Raiders, man.
I think it's going to be a blowout, and I think that bodes well for CEH. I mean, he's been pretty pedestrian since Le'Veon Bell came over to the Chiefs. Mm-hmm. I think CEH could have a really big game because if they get way ahead, they might actually run a lot more.
Yeah, my last stat here on the bottom was that Le'Veon feels blessed. Yeah, he got the CEH blessing to join the team, and so.
Yeah, the last 2 games though against the Jets, he only had 50 yards, and against the Panthers, he only had 36.
Yeah, no, it's not. He's not doing much. I mean, he might be more of a factor in the playoffs, or maybe he's just the best backup in the league. Talk about the best backups. Talk about the best backups. Joe, I see you have a guitar there. This show needs a theme song. So if you ever want to write us a theme song for the way of the fantasy league, go for it.
Oh boy, that's a big charge.
I know. It's I mean, like I would ask Andrew, but we're beefing.
Still?
Oh yeah.
You guys got to put those differences aside. And
I know.
I'm trying.
Soon. All right. Last game, Rams at Bucks. 48.5 over under. The Rams are the second best defense. They only allowed 18.7 points per game. Jalen Ramsey did a number on DK Metcalf. Who does he guard on the Bucks? Is he going to be on Evans? Rams sacked Wilson 6 times and picked him off twice. The Rams now have a 3-headed monster backfield themselves, and Ronald Jones is coming off a career best 192 rushing yards, which the way the Bucks have been playing, it might become a Fournette game. This way, you never know. They seem to be trading off. Mm-hmm. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I gotta say for Ronald Jones, well, obviously don't expect the same against a strong. Both defenses are amazing. I really do not think it's going to be a high-scoring game. Number one, I think looking at Ronald Jones, he kind of reminds me of the boyfriend that always has to go back and ask for forgiveness because he does something wrong, and please, baby, can you let me back in the house? Like, and the coach keeps letting him back in, and then every single week kicks him back out because he fumbles or does something. However, it happened last week. He fumbled again, and the coach still let him play. But I just don't trust the guy. Like, again, against a strong defense, I think it's. I'm looking for other options.
Yeah, neither of them. Yeah, I was high on Fournette, but I've been fading, and I actually have him on my bench.
Yeah. All
right, so there appears to be a light rain for that matchup. Don't know how much that's going to affect the prognostications. But
so the Rams are 6-3, the Bucks are 7-3. LA, they held Seattle to 16 points last week, which is phenomenal. They've only been giving up 18.7 points a game, which is second best in the NFL. They have 8 interceptions versus 9 touchdowns allowed. The defense.
Does anybody think that Aaron Donald's going to be eating Tom Brady's lunch and dinner and tomorrow's breakfast?
Well, that's the thing. It's funny you should bring that up, Joe. Thank you. Aaron Donald, this is the only quarterback that he has played several times that he has never sacked or never beaten.
That's because Bill Belichick made sure that didn't happen. We don't have Bill Belichick's not here, so
Yes. No, and the games where Brady struggles are the games he sees pressure.
Exactly. Brady himself is 5-1 versus the Rams, but he's only 3 for 30 on 20+ yard passes. And the Bucks love to blitz. They're second in the NFL to blitz. I'm sorry. Yeah, the Bucks love to blitz. They're second in the NFL in the number of blitzes. So this should be a pretty interesting matchup. The Rams run game is not good. But here's an interesting stat. The Rams offensive efficiency is 5th in the NFL. However, their point production is 18th in the NFL. They haven't scored 30 points in over a month. And the Rams are going to be without their left tackle, Andrew Whitworth, who is considered the most productive player on any field ever right now, based on his
Ever?
For this year.
Okay.
For this year. And let me just give you, I have a little stat, Ryan. So for left tackles, we've had 2 teams that have lost their left tackles. The Titans were 4-0 and were averaging 30.5 points a game. Then Taylor Lewan tore his ACL. They've now been 2-3 and only averaging 25.4 points a game. The Ravens were 5-1 and averaging almost 30 points a game. Then Ronnie Stanley broke his ankle. Now they're 1-2 now and averaging only 21.7 points a game. So with Andrew Whitworth out, this may be a bigger deal than we give it credit for.
Oof. Deep dive. Awesome.
Wow.
That's amazing. That is really awesome. I did not know that about the Titans. I've been wondering what was going on. I was kind of in my mind thinking it was a Tannehill issue, but yeah, I mean, might be just how important that position is.
Well, if you look at in the top 10 picks of pretty much any NFL draft, 4 or 5 of them are linemen. Generally, a couple offensive linemen. They're the spine of the whole operation. If your back hurts, then you can't do much else.
Yep. Good point. How's everyone's back doing right now?
Okay.
All right, we're close to wrapping up. This has been a great kind of leisurely week 11. I'm glad we got to take the trips with Antonio Brown down Mustache Hall of Fame Lane.
That's a good one.
Yes.
We got the Twitter poll. Are we doing the final?
Yep,
Twitter
that's
poll?
what I was getting to right now.
All right.
All right, so let's start banging this out. Over under Mike Davis at 79.5 total yards. I'll call you out. Malkier, over. Over under.
Over.
Dean.
Over.
Darren.
Yeah, over as well.
Joe.
Under.
Yes, I'm going under. Brother Dan.
Under. I'm going under.
All right, 2. Who will have more total yards, Ronald Jones or Leonard Fournette?
Fournette.
Okay, actually, I'm sorry. I should be calling you out. Yeah. So,
Brother Dan says Jones.
All right, and then so everyone's got Jones. All right.
Leonard Fournette. I'm calling Leonard Fournette.
Okay, so Twitter says
there, and Malkier says Fournette.
All right, over under for the first question. Twitter says 83%. Mike Davis over at 24. We have 24 total votes.
Even though he hasn't done so in 4 games.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm saying under still.
All right, so and now who will have more total yards, Ronald Jones or Leonard Fournette? Twitter says with 60 votes, a whopping 78.3% goes to Ronald Jones. All right, so number 3, will Terry McLaurin bring down 6+ receptions?
He's had 7 or more in I know at least 4 straight games. But I'm going to go first. I'm going to say under.
Okay, bold. Dean.
Yes, he will get 6 or more.
Malkier.
I said no in the Twitter poll.
Awesome. Joe.
Yes, for sure.
Yes, for sure. I say yes. Brother Dan.
Yeah, I'll say 6. I don't think he's going to get 7 or 8. I think 6 is right on.
All right. Twitter says, with 20 votes at 80%, yes, he will get over 6 receptions. Now, will Cleveland's defense register all these with 4+ of them?
Well, total, a combination.
Total, yes.
Not 4 of each one.
Yes, total. And total en masse. Will they get him? Well, I say no.
I say no as well. Myles Garrett is out, and I think that's going to affect their sacked bounty.
Yep. How about Dean?
I'm not answering this question. not going to guesstimate how many turnovers my Eagles offense is going to have.
All right, you're a conscientious objector.
Yes,
I agree with that.
All right, Darren.
Those are some good moral values there to not answer that. I think Dan makes a good point, but I'm still going to go over.
Still going to go over. All right, Joe.
I'm going to say under.
I'm going to say under or 2. Also, and Twitter with 16 votes says no. 56.3% say no. Twitter says no. Now, last question. Over under Taysom Hill with 1+ passing touchdowns. I say no.
I say yes.
I said yes.
Well, guys, it looks like Cleveland just took the ball away from the Eagles.
Wow, already.
I'm going to say yes on Taysom Hill, but thanks for the update, Dean.
Yeah.
All right, and then how about Darren?
Well, I just answered yes. I think the answer is yes on
Okay.
number 5.
Joe.
Yeah, under.
Under. All right. So Twitter says with 14 votes, 64% says over. Twitter says over.
It's
All
funny.
right.
People get bored of voting. You notice there's only 5, and they're like 1, 2. Nah, I get bored.
I don't understand. One question had 60 and the other has 20. I don't understand. Maybe it's just how it's popping up in their thing. And it's not clear that there's more questions. I don't get it. It's all in one thread.
Funny.
Anyways, yes, that has been the way of the fantasy league, week 11. Everyone, I hope you have a great fantasy day. I hope you kick ass. I hope you win. I hope you move up in the standings. I hope if you are playing spoiler, I hope it works. I hope you take down that number 1 guy. And
by the
make
way,
him eat
last
crow.
week every manager that was on except for Dean won. So it was karma. It was just greatness all around.
Oh man, you just said that with Dean on the air.
Oh, is he?
Look at his face.
Oh.
Look at that face.
Oh.
All right, we've yet to figure out a way to end this show. We're just gonna.
I hate dynasties, man.
Can't hear you from all the way down there.
I think it'd be
You're so to get you on the stream.
all right. Maybe next week we'll end the show with Joe just like doing like a metal solo, like. Do you like bend the strings, get on your knees, Joe? Is that how you play? Are you more like a Dave Matthews style?
Yeah, play with your teeth. Yeah.
Seriously.
Set it on fire and just be all.
Every week. Every week.
Every week. Yeah, come on.
That's the promise.
Patreon,
Next week,
guys.
come back.
We gotta buy good Joe guitars every week.
Beautiful. This has been the way of the fantasy league. We'll see you next week, guys.
Yeah, sub and like.